no commute. This is worth it. This is worth it 100%. The time you save, you buy back. We say that time is more valuable than money, right? We say time is more valuable than money, but then we act as though it's not, right? Did you know as soon as you go full time, you buy back 8 hours, but you don't really buy back 8 hours. You buy 8 hours back plus your commute, plus the mental strain of thinking about the job, plus the BS, you buy back so much time freedom that not having a job, you can just explode your income in a way huge way. Sandra says being appreciated. That's huge. That's good. Let's keep going. A few more. No hidden agendas. Well, let me think. There are no hidden agendas. Well, in this industry, I'm speaking from generating several million. You're going to end up still working with people, okay? And there's still going to be some hurt. There's still, even in this industry, there's going to be some hurt. There's going to be some misunderstanding. There's still going to be some games. There's still going to be some politics. There's still going to be some hard conversations. So it's not a myth. It's not like it's a fantasy over here, but it's a lot better. Okay, so raise your hand if that makes sense. It's not a fantasy, but it's a lot better. Like a lot better. Like our industry, the greatest thing about entrepreneurs is entrepreneurs, by and large, are value creating species. I mean, it's like a species. It's a different type of person. My wife and I were talking about a couple of our friends and how, we were just talking about a couple of friends. They're not entrepreneurs. That's okay. That doesn't matter what they are. But I remember we were talking about their health, and I just said they don't believe in health. Like they're fatalistic in that their bodies were given to them, and they mock us, and they mock in kind of a belittling. It's not mocking. It's a belittling of like, and I'm not even like crazy healthy, but we're way healthier than they are, and we started out at the same spot when we were like 20. But I said they don't really believe in health, and I said they don't believe in growth. I said they just, as a fundamental like concept of work and their jobs, they don't believe in growing what they're in. So the best thing about being around entrepreneurs is we are basically like gardening 24/7, and we're like scientists figuring out we're scientists and farmers in a sense that we are constantly in a growth hotbed. And if you're not, this is not the place for you, right? Value adding, growing, reading more. I mean, if you're not in new books right now, it's just a little acid test. If you're not currently being exposed to new books, this means more than Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich, I mean, come on, that's for 20-year-olds. I was reading it yesterday, but still, I've outgrown Think and Grow Rich. I mean, there's more to life than Think and Grow Rich. There's more to life than Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Like these are kindergarten get rich books, and they're literally, you start here. Okay, raise your hand if you follow what I'm saying. I mean, really, it's time. You guys gotta create in your mind wild growth, because that's the only way you can attract people that are growing. That's the only place that you care to be is around growing people. So we were just talking about a bunch of our, some of our older friends, and it's not that we just wouldn't hang out with them on the weekly anymore, because there has been kind of a bigger chasm has been created because they don't believe in a lot of the things we believe in. And I'm not saying religious. I'm just saying fundamental life systems. They don't believe in that their children. They just don't believe a lot of things, and so it's just not as fun. It's not as fun. It's like we're in this high level, high growth environment, high expectations, high standards, high corrections, high discipline, high fun, high adventure. Going for high money, and they're not. And so it is what it is. Okay, these are great. No paying rent, no hidden agendas, no unpaid bills. That's key. But here's another thing. If you're going to scale your business, a lot of times, you're going to spend. Basically, Jonathan Budd told me you roll your first $1 million your first 1 million is designed to create your network and build your infrastructure and skills. I mean, that's it. So obviously your lifestyle can start improving, but really the point of the first million, and the reason, I was able to really grow really, really fast is through that first million. I didn't burn many humans, right? I built network and I built trust, and I wove fabric, like relational fabric with this, because that was easier for me than like, I just get uncomfortable. I like people to like me. So I'm keen on that. And so I don't like, you basically build a bond with your buyers of goodwill through your first million. And then all of a sudden you have that whole platform to be affiliates, to be partners, to be co-creating launches with, and then that's how you ramp up to the next one. So the point of it is, though, a lot of times you buy more, you pay a deeper level. So right when you think, I mean, Andrea Good said, she's on here, it's a great story. It was a couple years ago. She just started making a little bit of money, and I had a $5,000 weekend come up for 7 or 12 people. So it was a 70 grand quick pop for me at the time. And here she is, and I'm like, she's like, I think I should come. And I'm like, well, it's up to whatever. But 5K, like, I don't know, Andrea, you're on there. I don't remember what you were making at the time. But, this month she's making 10 to 15K because she paid deeper levels to get deeper level one-on-one time to see how to roll out things at a higher level. Raise your hand if that makes sense. So once you think you're going for 8,000, you think 8,000 a month is going to be your ticket and you're set. Well, here's what happens. You can't get to 8,000 unless you grow right now. If you're below 8,000, this is like, you follow this. If you're less than 8 grand a month right now, you're under 8K, it is not possible to get there unless you begin a feverish growth pattern. This means new people. This means new listening. This means new product lines. This means new strategies. All of a sudden, you get in this new phase. All of a sudden, you arrive at 8 grand, but now you know what happened? This subtle little belittling trick happened. You created a habitat in your mind for growth. It went from stagnancy to growth. And now your actual habit is new. So you're going to be at 8 grand and you're going to say, you know what? I think, not because I want more money necessarily, but now I'm just programmed to grow. So it's time to go to 15 to 20. And then the process, I don't think it ever ends till you decide to cash out. Raise your hand if this is making sense. I'm wanting to just throw down some wisdom here, throw down some stuff. We'll get to GRN in a second, but I'm having so much fun right now. Choose who you get to work with. That is the best. Exercise in the morning. That's awesome. Work in my underwear. Do it. Make sure you take pictures and put them all over Facebook. Do what I want when I want. I love it. Not locked into a schedule. Standing behind a Cosmo. Go where I want to go when I want. Dress sloppy. Wake up early. Long hikes in addition to the typical. And then for some, doing what you want is key. But it's not comprehensive. For instance, I have a bunch of friends who, right now, with my son, Isaac is with them right now. They're hiking the Wind Cave. Some of you have gone on that Wind Cave hike with me. A bunch of guys are out there hiking the Wind Cave, having the time of their life on Friday, and then they're going to go have a great lunch. Then they're going to go have a cigar. Well, I have so much to do. There's no way I'll be able to get done with it till 4 or 5 o'clock. Just not possible. So, it's not like it's 100% do what you want to do. So FYI. These go on and on and on. It's awesome. Coach my kids' soccer time. Less riffraff. Being able to work online. All right, so travel the world. All right, so all that said, I want to go into the deeper fuel really quick. I think we touched on some of the deeper fuel. Raise your hand if we touched on enough deeper fuel yet. I feel like the deeper fuel are these kind of things that we've just been sharing. It's the deal. This is the deeper thing. It's a growth habitat that you create. Okay. get my man out of his job, who moved my cheese, want less stress, no worries of having to pay the bills. You know, and so some of these things, and here's a good one. Like someone just wrote in, these are good. I love you guys, and this isn't personal if I'm calling your one out, but like, no worries about paying the bills. I mean, we got to understand just at a deeper level that this is extraordinarily relative, right? It's extraordinarily relative because, you know, some of you right now could probably, you know, sell your house, you could liquidate a bunch of your shit, and all of a sudden you could bring your bills way down and make the same amount of money, and instead of being this much short, you're this much above, right? And that has nothing to do with online business or internet lifestyle. That has to do with your propensity to overdo what you earn. It's your propensity to mortgage out your future, to climb into consumer debt instead of asset building debt. You know, so a lot of it, when it comes to the bills, I mean, you can actually just, like Solomon says, you know, it's better to be of low esteem, right? It's better to be of low esteem and have a servant than it is to be in a wide house, meaning a big house, and you lack food. So what happens for a lot of Americans is we have big eyes and we have big, you know, we're optimistic about the future. We're going to have the big breakthrough, but we're not willing to drive a piece of crap for a while. We're not willing, you know, it's better to drive a piece of crap and have a servant. I mean, it's amazing to me, and this is just straight, and then I'm moving on. But it's amazing, beyond amazing to me. It's really not anymore, but when I was younger in this industry, it was, where there'd be a guy, I'll just take one particular guy in my mind, a guy who he really wanted it, right? He bought all the products, he integrated into the community, and he's a good guy. He's funny, he's nice, everything, went to the conferences, the whole deal. And was always kind of like, when it came to spending money on advertising, like traffic, wasn't promoted Facebook posts in those days, it was other kinds of direct response, but when it came to actually spending money, like doing things that make money and like hosting webinars and buying GoToWebinar for $100 a month and putting, you know, $300 to $500 a month, not even $500 a month, just $300 to $500 in ads to get some leads that you could drive so you can close some sales, so you can make some $3,250 commissions. When it came to that, he just kind of balked on it. But then, you know, I saw brand new vehicles and brand new vacations, spending money all over the place, which is fine, but just don't pretend you want this life and spend on consumer stuff until you have the life you want. Don't kid yourself. I mean, it's worth, you know, Solomon says, prepare your work in the field, and afterwards build your house. Build your estate, get your stuff, buy paintings, buy pools, take crazy vacation, but prepare your work in the field. This is the asset. This is the field that produces money after money after money after money. I just got a text from someone joining Platinum right now, paying right now. That produced another $3,250 from a field I prepared years ago. Popping money, prepare. And while I was building this field, making $10,000 to $20,000 a week, I was driving a $1,200 car because I was preparing my field because I wanted these things. But I was willing to delay the gratification, speed up the work so I could have them. Raise your hand if you're getting some value today, because that's all I'm after, is to share a little bit of value. All right, let's wrap up with a little bit of GRN insight. So GRN, I was just able to stay at the Hacienda Del Mar, which is a really great, it's a 4 stars, you can see up here. And I made this really, really short video on what Travelocity charges for the exact week of what Inside GRN charges. raise your hand if you've seen this little video. I think it's like might be 2 to 3 minutes, and I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to attempt to play it real quick, or at least find a couple of the key slides within this video. So pay super attention, because what a lot of you require. I was just talking to somebody the other day, and they said, they've been struggling for a few years online, and I said, well, if I didn't have a high ticket item that paid me, $3,000 when I sold it, I'd be struggling too. I mean, those were the heaping surges of windfall that allowed me to do what I do now. So if I was sitting around trying to make $200 commissions, $300 commissions, $150, or like, no way. Would have took forever for me. But anyway, here's this little video real quick, because I want to show you the value that you have inside GRN if you decide to promote it today. Let me see if I can get it going. Greetings, my friends. It's Mark Hoverson. A little peek inside GRN. So the Hacienda Del Mar Vacation Club is a 4-star property. You can see I'm actually on Travelocity.com. And what I did was I looked at March 8th for 7. I know how to stop this. So it's a 1-bedroom is what I looked at. Show you the price. I'm going to show you the GRN price. I'm going to show you why. This is the product that got me financially why. So let's look at the 1-bedroom. This is a premium 1-bedroom, 2 blah, blah, blah. It's got 2 queens, sofa, living room. So it's a little condo. $756 per night, $6,200 per week. All right, so that's the key thing to watch is the dates. As I showed the dates, whatever they were. The 1-bedroom, $6,200. Okay. Now let's just speed into the thing here because I keep talking. Now this is in GRN, the exact same dates. So if you look here, this is the exact date range. This is 7 nights. It's a 1-bedroom that sleeps 6. That's the 2-bedroom. Okay. $699. Now that is a savings in 1 week of whatever the math is, close to $6,000. Not quite 6,000. But you save $6,000 on a single week, and then there was me on the Wave Runners and stuff like that. I got a new pair of Ray-Bans, and I loved them. Good sunglasses. I never dreamed they'd be so valuable. But anyway, inside GRN, the Hacienda Del Mar, for the exact same week in March, which is a good week. It's not like it's July 20th in Mexico and it's boiling. I mean, it's March. It's like good spring breaky type weather. $6,200 for and it sleeps 6. And in GRN, it was $699. It sleeps 6. It's the identical thing. It's like 5,000 plus that you save on one use. Now, in our most popular package is the Platinum package. It costs $5,000 to purchase. Now, a lot of people on one trip, save their entire purchase back on one trip. In fact, because they pay this, they actually go to the Hacienda Del Mar. So it causes them to take a vacation. And they can go what normally would be $6,200 plus airfare, plus food and all the jazz. They can come here, and then the airfare, I mean, it's like airfare's free. It ends up feeling free because it's so cheap. Food ends up feeling free. I mean, you have like $5,000 of play money to do all the little adventures and all the crap, but actually you don't have to spend that much. So it's an amazing, amazing deal. Another trip we went to in Hawaii, we stayed at a 4-star Marriott right on the ocean. I'll never find this. I don't even know why I'm bothering. But Shani and I, we do all sorts of, funs and games. And I'm sure there'll be, like right here, this is a great picture. Here, this is about 20 minutes. This is the Kalalau coast, or the Kalalau Trail on the Nepali coast. They filmed the original King Kong over here, Fantasy Island. It was an amazing place, but about 25 minutes away is the Wyndham Valley High. And the Wyndham Valley High is in our membership all the time. If you go to buyatimeshare.com, these things sell currently for $15,000 to $25,000 for the exact same rooms that we get for $400. Exact same rooms. In fact, we stayed on the other side of Kauai. This is in Kauai. and there were GRNers staying at the Wyndham Valley High, so I was able to tour it. It was crazy. They had 2 separate bedrooms. They had a master. They had 2 bathrooms. They had a full kitchen. Kids were playing video games at the end of the day. They were hiking and snorkeling. There's giant sea turtles all over the place here. There's hidden waterfalls along this thing. This is probably the best hike in all of America, I would say. It's just magical. It's completely magical. But we, GRNs provided just insane amounts of lifestyle for us at discounts, like major, major discounts. So when we stayed in Oahu, let's see if I can find anything with Oahu. When we stayed in Oahu, it was $4,500 for that exact same thing on Expedia. $4,500, and we ended up paying $799, and it was just a major, major life changer. So I'll never find those pictures, but they're really fun, really freaking fun, and worth it. Gosh, I'm just looking at how much fun we have around. But gist of it is this: what GRN did is in one trip, it can save you $4,000 to $5,000. But the more important reason that probably a lot of you are here is you're here to make money. You want to know how to make money. So let's just put it into a couple steps. I say number 1, you have to position yourself to make money. Okay? Like it's simple. It's just a love and knowledge of math, right? Like, are you positioned today? Do you even have a chance to have a major, immediate breakthrough? Do you have enough? Is there enough profit margin for you to risk a major event? And a major event, you can do a 1-day event. So many GRN has done this. You do a 1-day or 2-day event near your house. It doesn't have to be fancy. It can be at a Holiday Inn. They can stay at your house. They can do a bunch of things where you say, here's the thing. I know how to generate, 10 leads a day on Facebook, or I know how to, I'm getting dozens of views on my YouTube videos or hundreds of views on my YouTube videos, or I've made, $3,000 online total and blah, blah, blah. And here's the deal. If you become a GRN Platinum member with me, you can have 2 days privately with me, which means have them, like I said, if they want to stay at your house. Don't worry if you live in an apartment. Don't worry if you don't live in a fancy house. When I was in North Dakota and I was driving that Nissan, I had people fly in from all over the country to spend time with me. We were living in the early 1980s home. It had purple shag, thick carpet. The bathroom was outdated. There was green wallpaper on the walls. We were driving pieces of crap. I didn't care because I knew I could give value if they bought things and came over to me. I didn't care about the show. I still don't really care about the show. But I was able to generate the money. So my number 1 is, are you in a position where one sale can literally turn the corner for you? Raise your hand if that makes sense. One sale, one tiny sale. That's all it takes is one sale. And do you have a situation where you can throw it out there and risk? And the thing is, you don't worry about these 2 days. This is super easy to do the 2 days. It's super easy. And you're going to say, well, what do I do with 2 days? Well, if you're growing, like I said, and you're reading the books, and you're connecting, you're networking, and you're going for it, you'll have more than 2 days to share. You'll have more than 2 days to create video, edit video, write blog posts, post ads, network with teammates, get one-on-ones with your mentors. You will have 2 days will not be enough for you. Now, some of you making $3,250 for basically what ends up being a day and a half it's a life changer. For some of you, it would take 2 sales so that you're making about $6,500. Remember, you're gonna take them out to a fancy restaurant while they're there a couple times. You're gonna take care of their food. You're gonna be nice. You're gonna show good hospitality. You might even pay for their $90 room Hyatt down the street from you or whatever. But you don't have to go out. You don't have to pour it on and lose all your margins for that. But you'll want to pick up a couple things. But $6,500, 2 sales, 2 days, 2 people. Some of you, that's a decent, thing. So for me, what I've done before is I've done 10, I've done 12 people at a time, paying $5,000, and I've done 2-day little things. I don't do those very often anymore. But you just do whatever you can handle. Raise your hand if that makes sense. And if you're worried about like, oh my gosh, I could never, I don't know what I do, and here's a bonus that I'll do for anyone who purchases GRN. I have a course. Gosh, what's it called? Man, it was so good. We sold about 20 grand of it, and then I didn't sell it again. It's the 1 day. It's like the 1 day formula. It's the VIP strategy, right? The VIP strategy. Now this is really annoying, and I can't believe I'm doing this. But here's the offer of today. If you get started today, or you know what, not today, but you get back to the person and say, hey, I'm going to do it. Maybe you have to move around money, and it's Monday or Tuesday next week. This no big deal. But I'll send you that VIP strategy training. So you're just going to have, you know what? Email my wife at smurf97@hotmail.com. Isn't that funny? Smurf97@hotmail.com, which stands for Shannon Marie Roskins. I don't know what F stands for. 97 is when she graduated. But when Shannon and I first started dating, she told me her email. And so an email was really big back in those days, Hotmail. This was when we were like 19. She said her email was Smurf97. So I sent it to Smurf with a U, right? Like Smurf. And it was to like a 13 or 14-year-old girl. And she replied to my ear. It was like a love letter, right? Nothing erotic, but it was definitely like a heartfelt love letter. And this little girl, this 13 or 14-year-old, emails me back and goes, "Sir, I think you're sending this to somebody else, but you're a really interesting person, and I'd like to stay in touch." And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, oh crap, this is crazy. So that was the early days of email. But anyway, email smurf97@hotmail.com. This isn't for past GRN buyers, so I don't want 200 people emailing my wife for this. We'll probably sell it. I sold it for I think I sold it for $97. I don't know what I sold it for, but I'll give it to you. And what the gist of it is, it's a very important person strategy, the VIP day. How do you create a VIP weekend? What do you charge for it? How do you do it? High ticket is just super, super easy. But number one, are you positioned to make that money? Some of you aren't positioned. The idea for you to make $32.50 and little small token income or income affiliate deals are good and they're necessary. And I live a good portion of my income is from small $14.95s, and you get your $7 and like an ILN or whatever, $25 a month or whatever you're in. Those things are good, but do you have something like that where it's not going to take 100 new buyers to create that for you? Raise your hand if you feel me, what I'm saying here. And so this is one of those things where if you're inside GRN, there's 3 levels, right? And I don't even want to talk about the first one, so I'm only going to talk about the last 2. $12,500 is our top level. Gives you 20 weeks of usage. It's a la carte. You usually pay between $3.99 and $7.99 for the week, and that's pretty much it. There's no real strings attached. There's availability all over the world. We have over 5,000 resorts. It's just an awesome package, super awesome package. That's our top one. That pays $7,700. One of those. And here's the thing: people will spend they'll get a loan for $24,000, $30,000 for a car, and this is just super. This is just to be an asset test, and we weren't taught this stuff. You know what I mean? So it's not a big deal, but people will get a loan for $24,000, for $30,000. They'll get a new car and they'll parade that thing around, show aunt and uncle and family and friends, and it's just everyone's just cheery, great for you. You got a new car, and I have the brand new Cadillac, the $92,000 Escalade. I'm all about nice cars. I'm all about them. I couldn't be about them anymore. So I'm all about a happy, I get the feeling of how awesome a new car is. It's fun. But there's people that'll go do this, and they'll get their car and they'll just be gleeful as all puppies. And then they look at something like this, they can open up a whole new lifestyle of travel and memories and adventure, and then position them to make $7,700 like a field over and 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 over, and it can become like an oil well to them, that it can be the driving force of how they get good at video, of how they get good at ads, of how they get good at everything. This thing can act like a carrot. This commission can act like a carrot that can move them to throw out their VIP days, to really pour it on, to develop the skill sets, to deserve a sale where someone will pay $12,500 for a product that they don't even have to service or create on the best real estate in the world with billions of dollars of resort infrastructure all over the planet. And then they can add a VIP day to it, make a single sale, and it can change their life in a radical way. It costs $12,500. But that same person is sitting here sweating blood drops, saying, no, not even thinking, not even opening the creative structures of their mind to come up with a way for them to move into their dreams. But a $30,000 car loan, for days. They'll do it for days. Brand new TV that costs $2,000 for days, right? It's not that it doesn't make any sense. It's that it's incongruent if they want to be an entrepreneur. Raise your hand if that makes sense. I'm not judging people that have new cars and not businesses, but if you want to have a new business and you want to play in this league and you're pussyfooting, wussying around, scared to really dive in and really go for it, just don't go for it at all. It's not a big deal. Or play around in the shallows, but just realize that you're playing around in the shallows. So if this is the ocean and, the shore goes like this and the whales are out here, millions of dollars sit out here, and you're sitting around on only, token incomes, it's okay. Right? It's okay. There's nothing morally wrong. But just realize you're just kind of splashing around with the kids. You're not actually, buying the boat and heading out to sea and getting good at swimming in the deep waters. And this is where a lot of the adventures, I'm not saying this isn't fun and satisfying, it is, but this is where you can do some real legacy changing stuff. So, raise your hand if you're getting some value tonight. Tonight, what the heck? It's today. It's early. It's Friday. It's a great day. Raise your hand. Is anyone recording this? Because I'm not. Anyone recording this? Raise your hand if you're recording this. Ronnie, that's awesome. Maury, will you guys get in touch with Vince? Oh, sweet. Marianne is. Will some of you get in touch if you have a really clear recording of this and get it to, if you guys could just let Vince know that you have it and maybe Dropbox it to him. I think this is good. I think people deserve to hear this. They should hear this. They need to hear this almost. But number one is just simple positioning to make money, right? So like I said, the top two levels with GRN, $12,500, and it pays you $770. And literally, you can save this money back on probably 3 trips. Now, most popular level is $5K. It gives you 10 weeks of usage per year. The weeks cost between $3.99 and $7.99. $5K, it pays you $32.50. That's so sweet. And there's no requirements that you sell one a month or it's it. It's just a really sweet, clean, your very first sale right out of the gate, $32.50. What I would do if I were you, I would get into this thing. I would start playing it. As soon as I got GRN, I would be back looking at their vacation offerings all the time. Couldn't really afford to go on any of the trips, even though they were $400. I did go to Hawaii right away just to use the membership, but I just kept looking and I kept familiarizing myself. And I imagined myself in Cabo, and I was just there. And I imagined myself in Puerto Vallarta swimming with the dolphins with my son, and I was there. And I imagined being in Hawaii with my wife, romancing on all these sexy little hidden miracle tropical paths, and I've been there. And I imagined doing bromance trips to Hawaii with just my friends, never mind my wife and kids and my bromance, and I've been there. And I imagined all of these things. And GRN has allowed them to happen. And not only the travel membership has allowed them to happen, but the lifestyle and the whale type money, the bigger money, the deeper waters has been there. So it's a powerful thing. So number one, I would position yourself to actually make money and I would do whatever it took. I would pull out of my IRA if I were you. If you're into this, if you're not into this, don't take my advice on this one. I would apply for extra credit cards. I would get a high interest loan. I would do whatever. I would cash out my 401k. I would do whatever it took to move into the heart of what I wanted in life, because it's short, even at the longest. And I would research into the heart, and I'd say, what do I want? If I want travel, and I want new friend set, right? And I want more time freedom, and I really like the internet marketing thing, and this is what's in my heart, right? I have this stuff in my heart, but then if the stop is like, oh, I'm scared, okay, well, that'd be okay if like no one else was doing this. But if we didn't have like thousands and thousands of people doing this, your fear there is your own upbringing. It's your own insecurities. It's I'm not invalidating it. I'm just putting it in its perspective. So if you have your heart palpitating for all this stuff, but you have the fear of, what if I fail? Or you have the fear of, what's my family going to think of me? And your family, families are meant to be a catalyst. They're meant to be a trampoline. And a lot of times they're an anchor. They're a plow. And you got to unhitch from the family legacy that you're in. You have to unhitch. Doesn't mean you unhitch from your family. It means you unhitch from the psychic baggage that you grew up with. And you say, I'm going to just roll and I'm going to run and live based on my heart instead of based on my family. Now, my family's in my heart, but they're not going to run the show anymore. What I feel I'm being called to and what I want is heavier than my uncle's judgment on what I'm doing. Raise your hand if that makes sense. It's amazing. I mean, this fear thing is huge. Some of you are seriously more concerned at what your friend's dad is going to say about what you're doing than you are concerned about having, doing, and becoming everything you ever wanted to have, do, and become. And you're letting other people's small-mindedness, other people's perceptions, other people's judgments, other people's mocking and laughter, that has deeper gravity than everything that you want. It's madness. Don't fall for it. So this stuff is, my phone's blowing up now. Is this good? I'm on fire today. I didn't even mean this. All I had was this. I worked out this morning. I did my shake. I did all this crap. But anyway, so if fear is over here, fear of the family, and if some kind of like, you're locking your mind, you're locking out possibility to create the wealth, to purchase, right? You're basically, because instead of saying like, it's not in the budget. Well, what's in the budget? I mean, the budget, come on, budget. You're locking, like, if you say this isn't possible, your frame of mind is that things aren't possible. If you open up for what's possible, you find that, that signed football that's worth $1,000, whatever, we can sell that. We can eBay this stuff. We can sell the old motorcycle, the old guitar. We can pull out the IRA. We can open up a couple different credit cards. We can max out a credit card or two. We can do what we want, and the heart and the calling of the heart is worth going for. Now, as long as you realize that after you go into your heart, there's this little thing called work, and then you put your hand to the plow, and then you type the emails, you record the things, you attend the webinars, you create the webinars, you hustle, you type the emails, you read the books, you give it all your heart. Once you let your heart inform you, you then give your effort all your heart too. So raise your hand if you get that it's the dual heart thing. It's listen to your heart, and then once you listen to it, make sure you give everything you got with your heart. So don't let your heart trick you, okay? And don't let your lazy habits destroy you here. That's what happens way too often. So don't let that happen. All right, I'm getting out of here. Here's what I would recommend you to do. Get back to the person that invited you here. Get back. Tell them you attended at the very least. Send them a Facebook message. Send them a text. Say, hey, I was on this lifestyle webinar with Hoverson, looking at GRN. Ask a couple questions. Ask the game plan. I only told you number one, and you know what? Who cares after number one? Position yourself. Once you position yourself, you have that $32.50 commission in front of you. You have those vacation offerings in front of you. put a carrot in front of your life that gets you out of bed. You know, the deeper field and stuff like that is like, put something in front of you that is inspiring to move forward, right? So you got your carrot. You know, what is, I'm so bad at this. You've got a lot of you are here and you feel stuck, you feel bored, you feel stagnant. Put a big enough carrot in front of you where it's like, you know what? Your heart kind of throbs for that. You're going for it. That's worth it. And along the way, you're going to pick up all sorts of interesting characters and friends. You're going to pick up all sorts of characters and attitudes. You're going to pick up some new books. You're going to have some new adventures as you attend conferences and network all over the world. You're going to have new friends. I mean, it's an adventure, so the carrot isn't even the point. The pursuit of the carrot, and then you get all these little, you know, your muscles get bigger, you get more in shape. Everything is better. Get back to the person that brought you here. Let's have a smoking awesome weekend. I love you guys. I love your patronage. I love your support. I love your patience with us as we develop all the business structures that we do. You guys are amazing. You make my life go round, and I think of you often. All right, get back to the person that brought you here. Raise your hand if you got value from today. And we're awesome. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Lean. Thank you, Elder. Thank you, Floyd. Thank you, Greg, Gustavo, Hannah, Helen, Heather's. Oh, Heather's galore today. JC Bird, good to see you. Jennifer, Kathleen, everybody. Lauren, hey, Lauren's on here. Marion, Maurice, Mark, Millie, Maury, Nana, Pat, everybody. Let's rock it. Peace. And one of these days, I will learn how to shut off this webinar. Right now, don't know how. It's over. See you guys.
The organizer has ended the session.